you just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy has clarified that the student placement restrictions that will be meted out to government boarding schools of RKS, QVS and ACS arose out of lack of space due to overcrowding. The minister had announced early this month that the schools will only cater for students from remote areas starting from next year. In a statement yesterday, he clarified that boarding spaces are to be first given to rural and interior students as well as those from the maritime areas. Any surplus spaces will then be given to students from urban areas. Fiji has taken another step with the rest of the world to protect our forest and safeguard the quality of our soil. This is after the launch of the Reforest project, which is funded by the European Union and spearheaded by the Secretariat of the Pacific Community. Shanal Sivan reports.
The aim of this project is to grow an extra 7.5 million trees, spanning 6,000 hectares of forestry in 4 years' time. Planting the first tree in Nadi yesterday, Minister for Fisheries and Forests says the project will provide important long-term environmental and economic benefits for Fiji.
And we Fijians have an opportunity to change our lives by developing additional income streams, maximizing the utilization of our lands, securing our future for our children, protecting our environment, and contributing to the economy of the country.
This farm in Vanuatu Nadi will help reduce the vulnerability of sugarcane crops to soil erosion and will protect sugarcane access roads from damage and flooding.
The project's objective is ultimately to plant 7.5 million trees in 4 years in order to reverse soil degradation and also to further develop the timber industry in Fiji, thus to generate jobs and revenue and to improve the livelihoods of the local populations.
Reforest Fiji intends to be a pilot project with idea of replicating in the next 4 years in a much larger scale.
Reforest Fiji has been designed to provide both environmental and economic benefits with the 3 target sugar sectors, Korunumbu, Drasa and Mololo. Reforest Fiji is of particular importance to the Secretariat because the project was also designed to complement the rehabilitation of the rural roads and associated infrastructure project, targeting the same sugar sectors as Reforest Fiji.
The EU has injected $20 million for this project. Shanal Shivan, FBC News.
The government is happy with the progress of the relief team currently helping the Vanuatu government assist those who are affected by Cyclone Pam. 30 Army engineers and members of the Health Ministry and DISMEC are in Vanuatu for the rehabilitation program. Ali Kimbia reports.
As rebuilding process currently underway in Vanuatu, the Fiji National Disaster Management has confirmed that there is still a lot of work that needs to be done. Minister for National Disaster Management, Inia Siriratu, says they are looking at other options to continue assistance to the people of Vanuatu.
We are extending our deployment until the end of April. Should there be any further considerations for further assistance, then we will have to seriously look at our options as well. Fiji is willing to assist in whatever form, but then this involves costs as well. And we can work with our strategic partners, we can work with donor agencies and friends to look at options for us should the need arise.
Siriratu confirms that the people of Vanuatu will continue to receive relief supplies from Fiji, and the total cost of relief supplies to Vanuatu now stands at over $500,000.
The relief supplies that have gone to Vanuatu, it's coming in lots. The first wave was around 120,000 worth of food items, let alone the cost of the aircraft. and of course the salary and the allowances for our people in Vanuatu. And as we speak, we have additional stores again that are in place. We have gone well over the 500,000 mark to include stores and allowances and salaries for our people as well.
For the people of Vanuatu, any form of assistance will be a sigh of relief for them, as this will help them rebuild their lives. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
FemLink Pacific has expanded its FemTalk 89 FM community radio program, broadening its transmission from Suva to cover the Navua-Nosori corridor. Eleanor Turangeview with this report.
FemTalk 89 FM works to improve the representation of women in decision-making and political leadership at local and national levels. And with the extension of its transmission, the NGO hopes to get more women voices heard.
This is a big step in helping women find their voice and have it heard. More women can step forward to voice their opinions and tell their stories. And as a country girl, born and bred, it's great to have that opportunity shifted beyond Suva to the rural areas.
Attorney General Ayaz Said Kayum says while this is the first step, more needs to be done to cover women living in the more remote areas.
That is in a way cherry picking, what you call cherry picking. You are essentially only targeting people between Nosori and Suva. You've got of course Lambasa there, but many people say, hang on, what about the people up in Kayasi? What about the people up in Ra or Navosa or Nandi or Lomo Lomo, whatever the case may be? So in fact, these are the very people, in fact, who do not have access to information.
FemLink Pacific chairperson Dr. Rajni Chand says over the years, the community radio has remained true to its commitment to peace, human security and human rights, stemming from experiences of women in local communities.
It has been a journey that started with a small production kit and a small suitcase radio station in 2004. Today, we thank many of you for being part of that journey.
FemLink Pacific is the Pacific's first women-led community radio network. Australia supports the NGO through a $300,000 funding under its Pacific Women program. Eleanor Turangeview, FBC News.
The Suva Magistrate Court has revoked the bail of a man facing charges of obtaining financial advantage by deception after he absconded bail. Alvin Sagar of Nasinu first appeared in court on January 21 and failed to appear again on March 2. It's alleged Sagar dishonestly took money from clients to give visas and work permits as a travel agent. Resident Magistrate Walin George ordered him to be remanded in custody and must appear again in court on April 24. Amalgamated Telecom Holdings Limited has confirmed that it has been selected by the Kiribati government as the winner of the sale by auction of the assets of telecommunications services Kiribati. The selection was made by the government via the State-Owned Enterprises Reform Steering Committee. The total sale price is 7.5 million Australian dollars, approximately 11 million Fijian dollars. The parties will now establish a new operating company in Kiribati to effect the transaction, transfer the assets and provide telecom and ICT services across the Republic of Kiribati. Telecom Services Kiribati is the country's sole provider of mobile, broadband and fixed line services. High-class football action on display at Oceania Football Champions League, and sports fraternity discuss way forward.
FM number 2 in the series and on in Denmark ke Central Rental Support ke terus minichi me ba na koloko. Ni sabola.
Oya wa tisoni dalai.
Gonga ya mosdon.
Nama kikirau mena tolu kene bitu. Ena via kabi moliti kena porombuka.
Goria na lali ne kabi. Bula FM number 2 in the series.
My name is Luca. I live on the second floor.
Gold FM, Oliver Classic Hits. I hope you're having fun so far. You're listening to The Ride, and I'm Kara, taking you through your afternoon. Stay with me to listen to more awesome classics right here on The Ride. Mulubinaka. for awesome sounds in the afternoon. Wonderful, wonderful classics. Join me on the ride every weekday right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits from 2 to 7.
Just don't ask me what it was. I think it's 'cause
In this bulletin, government's unveiling of 5-year development project delayed. Public welcome fuel price reduction. And government looking into setting up a regulatory authority to oversee the energy sector. Good evening, I'm Akosita Tale and this is FBC News. The unveiling of government's 5-year development plan has been delayed. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama had announced in November last year the plan would be revealed at the end of March. Eleanor Turangeviu has more.
The 5-year development plan will outline the focus of the Fijian government and where aid needs to be channeled.
We hope to have that finalized later on. We had given an earlier indication to have it completed by March, but obviously it's a much bigger task than that.
In the next couple of weeks, government will put out advertisements in the media calling for submissions from the public on what they think should be included in the development plan.
The team from finance will be going around the country getting people's views in terms of development, what kind of development we want, and then we put that in a comprehensive development plan.
The Attorney General says the 5-year plan will not only benefit Fijians.
A development plan that will be not just good for us as a country in terms of where we are going, but also for those people who want to come and invest in Fiji. They know the direction the country is taking, and also by donors or people who want to work in partnership with Fiji at a bilateral basis. They know exactly where we are going.
The 5-year plan aims to enhance Fiji's capability and development through a transparent process. Eleanor Turangeviu, FBC News.
Fuel and gas price reduction announced by government overnight has evoked positive reactions from the public at large. Savera Tambua has more.
The fuel price reduction across the board is effective for both mainland and the rural areas.
But of course, as you would know from the previous reductions, that there's always variation. So outside Suva and Lautoka, there's always a variation. There's slightly a higher price, but the reduction is obviously across the board.
This restaurant owner will now save about $100 a month from buying cooking gas, with the new prices coming into effect from midnight last night.
It's good because when we buy 50 kg gas, we can survive $20 per 50 kg. So that's better for us.
A 4.5 kg gas cylinder will now cost $13.45 and a 12 kg cylinder will cost $35.87. Two women FBC News spoke to were elated over the 32 cents drop in kerosene price.
I used to buy 4 liters of kerosene in a week before, which cost me a lot of money, but with the new prices, I am relieved. I am really pleased because I use kerosene daily. Before, if I buy 1 liter, it doesn't last long. Now I can buy a gallon and it can last me a week.
The taxi industry has also praised the price reduction, adding most drivers will now be able to save more money for family use.
We welcome that the industry will move forward. The price has gone down because this is one of our major factors of our operational cost. So we welcome the move that has been taken by the government of the day.
Government and the Commerce Commission are advising shopkeepers to follow the price changes schedule, and members of the public are also urged to note the new prices and report if no change has been made. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
The Lands Ministry is working on identifying those lands that have been illegally subdivided and sold as residential lots. The ministry has found that many agricultural land in Singatok and Nandi have been subdivided without proper approval and sold to individuals to build properties. Citing the anomalies in the audit report from 2007 to 2009, the Ministry of Lands and Mineral Resources has embarked on a lot of improvement initiatives. One of these is the data harmonization project, which began in 2013.
We went out inspecting every individual leases, starting off in the Western Division, in Singatoka and Nandi, and identifying trying to harmonize the data, the information that we have in the database, and then verifying it with what is on the ground.
Malakai Nalawa says it was then discovered that their records do not match with what's on the ground.
For instance, some of our data in the database, even the address of our lessees and the other information about the lessees, and even to the aspect of development, whether land has been fully utilized or not.
He says from this harmonization project, they can also confirm that a lot of agriculture leases have been illegally subdivided, mostly in the Nandi per-urban areas.
A lot of lessees in the agricultural, for the agricultural lessees, they have subdivided and sold blocks for 5,000 up to even nearly 20,000 per block without the lessees. They did it, that was an illegal act on their part, without seeking consent from the ministry, from the Department of Lands.
The ministry formed a separate task force last year called Operation Savatia. Under this operation, Atimi Nandi is identifying those land that were illegally subdivided and providing them with proper leases. This is done to stop this land from turning into squatter settlements and at the same time to provide security to those living on state land. The government is considering a regulatory authority to oversee the energy sector. Minister for Infrastructure Pio Tikundondua says this will ensure monopolistic companies are better assessed and that consumers aren't subjected to high tariffs. What is Soni Rekanroka with this report?
Minister for Infrastructure Pio Tikundondua says, for now, FEA is monopoly in the market while the Commerce Commission regulates prices.
We're trying to take the regulatory aspects away from the authority so that a separate entity will then overlook the authority to give it some, some guidance in terms of how it conducts its business.
Tikundondua adds that they are in the process of divesting shares from FEA.
The whole scheme of that is, is still, under consideration, but that is the intent anyway. To allow people to have, particularly the stakeholders, customers, to have some share in terms of the company that's generating the power for them.
External forces influence the prices of petroleum products that are sold in the country, and the ministry is looking at competitive prices for customers. What is Soni Rekanroka, FBC News.
Hundreds of people gathered today to celebrate the life of Losana McGowan at her residence in Veisari outside Lami. Friends, colleagues and family turned up dressed in bulawear and bright colors to reflect McGowan's personality as a bubbly and vibrant person. Tears flowed freely from those in attendance at delivering of a eulogy on behalf of her workmates by SPC's Director Geosciences Division, Michael Peterson. Like the others who spoke before him, Peterson reflected on McGowan's life, adding she will be sorely missed.
But more and more, Losana became in the wider life of the division. She very much enjoyed being part of analytical groups, focus groups, looking at various things in SPC and how we could improve things with staff, with development, with all sorts of things, with work practices, all of these sorts of things. So she loved strategy groups, peer support groups, and as you can imagine, she was usually not very quiet in them.
The former journalist was laid to rest at the Nasino Cemetery at around midday. She died following an alleged domestic dispute with her partner last Saturday. Still to come on FBC News, more trees for the future. Fiji takes further steps to save the forest.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulablaga. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
छू छू छू। हे नमस्ते फीजी, आपके हर एक प्रॉब्लम की दवा लेकर मैं आ गई हूँ 9 से 12 बजे तक आपकी सहेली रेनू। छू छू छू। 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची, इट्स हॉट।
Welcome back. This is FBC Sports. The 2015 OFC Champions League got underway today in Suva and Ba. At the ANZ Stadium, defending champions Auckland City is leading Suva 3-0. Meanwhile, the Wellington football side will be looking to emulate the success of their compatriots Auckland City in the Champions League. The team is playing in the competition for the first time and have strengthened their title bid with the inclusion of former Waitakere United trio Jake Butler, Chris Bale and Alex Carr.
Obviously we've got a lot of experience from a number of players that have come out of New Zealand from other clubs that have been here before, so we feel like we do have the experience, but obviously they've set the benchmark. And it's it's a pretty high benchmark, and it's something that we'll be looking to by the end of the tournament certainly be looking to emulate what they've done in the past.
Wellington will take on Te Whana in their opening game tomorrow at 7 p.m. Representatives from local sporting bodies and stakeholders attended the annual sports conference in Suva today. Hot on the agenda was the sports development programs put in place by government, as well as the preparations in place for major competitions coming up later in the year. Chalenda Udakadaka has more.
The Fiji National Sports Commission continues its drive to develop sporting talents from the grassroots level. Stakeholders attended the conference at Studio 6 in Suva today to discuss the way forward for sports in the country.
It's a time when the NSOs can get across to the Commission what their challenges and problems are, and then we can try and address them. It's also a time when the Commission gets to talk about the grants for the past year, the grants for the following year, the requirements of sporting bodies now.
With the construction of several sporting facilities around the country, plans are now in the pipeline to establish a sports academy to develop youths into world-class athletes.
More so this year, I think, because I was very lucky to be part of the Minister's delegation to Australia, where we spent a lot of time looking at sports academies, and we spent time with the Australian Sports Commission, the Brumbies Academy, the Australian Capital Territories Academy, and this is what we're going to establish here.
With a host of major sporting tournaments coming up later in the year, as well as the Rio Olympics next year, the Fiji Sports Commission is determined to give our sportsmen and women the best foundation possible to achieve success. FBC Sports.
Western Heat netball team is aiming for a strong finish in the Digicel Punja Super League netball series. The team has been unbeaten thus far and will be looking to maintain this streak. Team President Chio Chilangi says the girls are away working to improve their game in each match.
The key thing that we've been really trying to focus on is their discipline, for them to discipline themselves. Because the gift and knowledge of the games, they already have it. It's just that for them to discipline themselves and learn from their mistakes and improve from that, and to be a good and better players in the future.
The tournament is a selection ground for the Fiji Pearl squad to the Netball World Cup in August. Local swimming clubs made a splash in the pool today for the third and final club long course event of the year. These swimmers are competing to qualify for the national age grade long course event in June. Participants turned out for the 8 local clubs, 5 based in Suva, with 3 clubs based in the Western Division. Fine weather prevailed over most parts of the country today. Category 2 tropical cyclone Solo was located at about 725 kilometers northwest of Nomea at 3 p.m. today. It is moving south-southeast at 18 kilometers per hour. The associated trough of low pressure is affecting New Caledonia and the Solomon Islands. Meanwhile, an east to southeast wind flow prevails over most Pacific Island countries. The Hidden Paradise Savu Savu recorded the lowest temperature today, hitting 29 degrees on the chart. Lambasa recorded the highest, hitting 31 degrees. Tomorrow, brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, elsewhere fine apart from isolated afternoon or evening showers. And further outlook, fine apart from brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, southeast winds 10 to 50 knots, moderate seas. And recapping our headlines, government's unveiling of 5-year development plan delayed, public welcome fuel price reduction, and government looking into setting up a regulating authority to oversee the energy sector. And on to our poll question, do you think Fiji can win this year's Rugby Sevens World Cup series? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizensize@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News, or if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's our news for tonight. Join us again same time tomorrow. Until then, Modemanda.
मेरा चांद मुझे आया है नजर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। छाया है नशा मेरे आंखों पर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। रह जाए ना प्यासा मेरा प्यार, मेरे बाहों में भर दे मेरा यार, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। है दोस्तों, मैं हूं जितेन शांडिल। आप रात के बाद हमारे साथ अब रफ्तार प्रोग्राम में 3 से लेकर रात 7 के बीच शामिल हो सकते हैं। मिर्ची FM, इट्स हॉट।